have been principally engaged, or very engaged, in the one aspect of the outreach process with our committees. You'll recall that the Greenlight outreach process included, beyond dissemination of our brand image in collateral materials, I learned that word, it also included social media activities and creating of 3 committees: a business committee, civic committee, and then the government committee, which is the advisory ACPT. The business committee and civic committee have now met 2 times. They're going to meet 3 times. So they have met once per month in June, July, and then they will finish in August. Once they're concluded with their activities, their input will be summarized and represented by what we're calling a Greenlight Council of a select representatives from civic, business, and government in this fall. The Greenlight committees, you're generally familiar with the ACPT, but the Greenlight Business Committee and Civic Committee met for their second time yesterday. They are led by each committee is led by 3 conveners. Civic leaders and business leaders that have agreed to step forward and lead the discussion. The reason we're doing that, and we did that, was to distinguish them, to try to distinguish them from a PSTA, a specific PSTA committee, as a committee that's advising the board. They're not intended to be that way. They're intended to be an outreach effort with the general public. They're not. It's not every business in Pinellas County that is on the committee. It's not every civic group that's out there. It's not even representative geographically or any way. It's people that were recommended or volunteered and have attended the meetings. Both meetings have been successful as far as attendance. I would say about 40. I don't know the exact number. 40 to 50 people have been at the 4 meetings we've held. The conveners of the business committee are Ronnie Duncan, who is, in addition to running his own business, is the chair of T-BARTA. Chris Steinacher, who is the CEO of the St. Petersburg Chamber, and Kanika Tomalin, who is a vice president of HMA, Health Management Association, which now is the owner or company that runs Bay Baker. The Civic Committee conveners are Darden Rice, wearing her civic leader hat, not necessarily or in no way related to her representative being on the PSTA board, but as a civic leader. Dawn Ewing, who is the chair, or I don't know, president of the North County Neighborhood, CNCN group, representing the North County neighborhoods, and Stacy Blake, who runs it's called Community Tampa Bay, Leadership Tampa Bay, I think it's what it's called. It's a leadership organization that helps underprivileged youths learn leadership skills and works with, I think it's out of Eckerd College, and they train young people. Anyway, the groups have met. I would say that the interest level is very high by both groups. We've had very significant representation from a lot of different people that have never been to these meetings and attuned before. So we're accomplishing that goal. They have a lot of questions, and we're trying desperately to answer them. The meetings yesterday, I think we heard 2 comments. One, people want more opportunity to talk and to voice their opinion and to express their opinion. We have people that are incredibly in favor of this and love it to death, and we have people that are maybe not so sure of it. including Mrs. Cato, that come to the event. But generally, they want to talk, but they also want us to tell them tons more information and answer their questions. They want us to give them tons more stuff, and yet, it's like that balloon she said. It's a 2-hour meeting, and we try to be respectful of people's time. They get mad at me for talking too much, and then they say that they want more information. So we're going to try to wrap this up in August, trying to balance that better, giving more opportunities or ways that people can provide their input, but them feeling like they have an opportunity to get their questions answered, and reach a conclusion that they support moving forward with the plan in general, and they feel like they've had an opportunity to weigh in on this as we move forward into the fall. Now, Darden, if you have any other feedback or thoughts.
I think you wrapped it up really well as far as I've been looking at it through the civic committee lens. And it seems like our meeting yesterday, we had more people attending than we did at our first meeting, I believe. And Brad just really nailed it on the head that the feedback is people want a lot more time to talk, but they want more information. So there's kind of a sense, if I could use a metaphor or analogy, it's sort of the difference between, is it like going to a lecture to hear someone speak and passively absorbing information and having time to ask questions at the end? Or do students kind of do their homework ahead of time and come prepared with some questions and participate more actively with the process? And so there's sort of like, to me, we're still trying to figure out, I think some of that balance of participation. But I think that we've seen, I think a pretty good level of engagement in questions, and
Are we going to be able to finish if we only have one more meeting?
That's a good question.
Should there be more meetings? Because we don't want people to walk away and have any sense of either they weren't heard or they didn't get enough info.
I don't think having more meetings, this is my professional recommendation, is I don't believe having more meetings will answer that question, or either stop people from saying what you just said, or of course we could have more meetings. And we do need to continue with the Greenlight process and reaching out, letting people have their say, and communicating more information out there in many ways. I think what we stay the course with our plan, and we have one final meeting of this group. One of the benefits of this group, and this has been occurring, is that these leaders, both on the business and civic, have then reached out to us and said, hey, can you come talk to my group? Can you schedule a time to come talk to my group or hear from my group what we have to say?
Which is opening up more dialogue.
It's like a spider web, so it's working. But at this point, I'm not recommending extending it.
we couldn't have been more clear that August 22nd was the time to wind it down and to, as questions get submitted and answered, that it's some decision time is coming up in August. So, I think that message got across loud and clear. What might be good to talk about is what kind of email communication happens with the participants between now and then, just to touch base with them again before that meeting. It doesn't have to be another meeting, but just some way to touch base with them between now and August.
Question. One of the ways that I would try and estimate whether more meetings might be necessary is the degree of redundancy of the questions and the observations that are coming up. Is it getting so that you've heard everything that people are asking, or are there a lot of new questions that are being raised?
Who are you asking that to?
I think the last time was more conversational, at least with this group. The civic group was more conversational and listening to them. The second meeting was more about getting questions out there. And so staff is consolidating those questions, putting together, writing down the answers that we gave, and we'll be distributing that to
I'm
the
just wondering if we're
committee.
hearing the same thing.
So that they can say, yes, all of my questions have been answered, or, oh, that's a good question that somebody else asked, and now I have the answer as well. And so we'll have that written down for people, for the civic, so that at the final meeting, we can get down to making those final recommendations.
Remember,
But I think- yeah.
one clarification, this is different than the normal public input process that maybe you and I are normally used to. And so, last night, after going through a long day of being barraged with a million questions, you step back and say, this is a committee input of the general public. They're not reporting, we're gonna tell you what they said and have a full report of all their public comments, so you as elected officials and board members of PSTA know what they said and questions and answers. But it's not really designed to just be that only. It is designed to have the general public feel like they had another avenue to weigh in. And it's doing that in kind of a messy, normal, public way. I mean, it's all over the place.
What I'm trying to get at is does it seem that everything that is going to occur to people, has that already come up? So that if somebody wants to go back and read it and say, oh yeah, I would have asked that question, and oh yeah, so that it's not like a lot of new things are coming up. It's basically a really comfortable.
Although I would say, Miss Harriet Crozier, who's a Largo commissioner, and on the ACPP, she sent an email out to the ACPP members with a new form of transportation I had never heard of before. A tunnel bus in China.
Elon Musk.
What?
Elon Musk's thing. You can get across the street in country in 45 minutes or something.
I don't think that's what that was, no.
Oh, okay. It wasn't Elon Musk.
No, no.
It was like a rail bus thing that was.
On legs.
Scared the
That
heck
was
out of
new.
me, I wouldn't
That
drive
was
on
new.
the
I had
road,
never
no
seen
way.
that.
Straddle bus.
But it was cool looking. So it was cool.
I think to answer your question, no.
So more
Nothing.
But we get
Okay,
very,
is
we
this
get,
all
we
we
get
need
a lot
from
of
Darden?
repeats.
Because I know she
At
needs
this
to
point,
go.
we're getting,
Yeah,
every so
sorry.
often we
That's
get
okay, go
something
ahead.
new.
But if we're getting all the repeats, then.
I would say that, yeah, 90% of the questions, the things we talked about were things that we have heard before. There,
So
there's
then
just a
it's-
couple things
the
here and there,
process
there's always
is
gonna be
pretty
new.
well done.
Yeah.
Okay.
The question that I have with these groups is, there were some things in the project plan that were to be completed prior to these groups at least finishing up. Like the no new revenue scenario, we're seeing that for the first time. They haven't seen that, they won't understand that. The financial package, particularly the business group, I think is going to want to see that. I don't know when that financial package is going to be completed, but I'm concerned of the order of things. We've got a referendum in Clearwater on the Marine Aquarium, and we're struggling with what is the order that things have to happen in order to approve the referendum, or at least tell people when things will happen after the referendum if they approve it. And so I'm struggling with the order and that new things are going to be created later that the groups will have wanted to digest.
Now, you're right. It's a balancing act because we don't want to complete all of the work and planning and analysis and then ask them, and then it is perceived as if they have no ability to actually manipulate the plan. So it is kind of a work in progress. To those two specific details that you described, they have a full copy of all of the information that you have about the financial assumptions that we are using. For
I
the
think,
plan.
but I think,
They
not
have
to
it.
interrupt you, I think what Bill's referring to is what we've all been sort of clamoring for, what gets done when. So if the referendum gets approved, what happens? The accountability plan, I sort of call it, in the first year this will happen, third year this will happen, fifth year this will happen, 10 years this will happen. as well as the financial person we either have hired or gonna hire to be looking at the assumptions and confirm it as an outside, or an outsider. Am I correct?
That's right.
Those are the things you're,
Well, I think the no new revenue.
We did discuss with them the no new revenue scenario. We didn't give them this full PowerPoint you just saw today, but described the 28% cut and, you know, what are the effects of that. I think from their perspective, the general public, most of these folks are not been inundated with this. We don't get questions. They don't feel like we're not able to answer the question. They just, I think, have more questions.
are you, when will those two things be done? The financial thing and the account? I know that accountability is not the right word. You have a word for it, I just keep forgetting.
Now we're calling it the delivery.
Delivery plan.
There you go. When will that be complete?
First
I think those
presentation
are
is the
two different
ACP.
things.
They are two different things.
Delivery versus accountability.
Yeah, okay, when is the delivery plan going to be done?
We're gonna talk about the delivery plan at the ACPT next week.
So you have a version of it?
We have,
Okay.
some
Great.
background information and what would be in it. It has elements of accountability. It's the promise of delivery, so it is the
Okay.
accountability.
The plan, okay.
Yeah.
And then the finance thing where we're gonna hire somebody, I know there was a little delay on that because we couldn't find somebody.
Right, we have a consultant now through our general planning consultant that we are meeting with to, and to be specific, what we're going to ask them to do is develop a implementation plan, a financial implementation plan for the capital and operating, and to develop some some costing information for the plan in what do you call it, year of implementation, not in constant year dollars like the current assumption is. So that they are going to run the number, take all of the financial information that we've already produced and develop like you're describing, a year-by-year, 25-year plan
Of what we
using
need to accomplish.
inflation assumptions to describe the true costs of things, or not true costs, but assumed costs of things in year of expenditure.
And not to, again, not to interrupt you, I'm just trying to make this quick. If once that's complete, do we then compare that to what we put together from the AA?
No.
No comparison, this is just a plan, because, and I asked this question because I've heard folks say, great, we're gonna have an outside pair of eyes look at our assumptions.
Right.
And I'm not exactly sure that's what we're doing. I believe, my perception is that it's a little bit of both. That they're coming up with a plan that does look at what we've been assuming and refines it. And may say, well, what you did over here. There may be a comment from them, what you did or what was presented or told to you here is probably not too much or not enough.
Yes.
It's a double
Perhaps.
check, maybe, that, I think that's sort of an unintended outcome,
Yeah, I
Yes?
would characterize it as a refinement
a refinement,
more than
okay.
a,
As an outside pair of eyes coming in to blow holes through it. Because that's what I've heard, for instance, from our mayor in Dunedin, I heard him say that at the MPO. Great, I want an outside pair of eyes. So I think we have to be really clear as to what this person is going to do.
Right. Well, I think you characterize it accurately.
Yes.
I want us to make sure that we know what's in the financial plan. For instance, the trolleys running on 30-minute frequencies 7 days a week. Is that in the plan or is it not? I'm not sure we all have the same
Right.
assumptions of really what is in the plan. And that's why it's important I think even for us to see it in the entire package. And based on our conversation today about the no new revenue scenario, is this new project sustainable? And I'm glad you had said that your financial person would be looking at a 25-year horizon on sustainability, future.
Yeah, from my own experience in Charlotte, we had a financial consultant, and the board adopted a policy. We said the sales tax was passed in 1998, and the rail came online in 2007, and we doubled the bus system in the time being, did all that, and we didn't get the federal money and everything worked out right away. They hadn't even done their alternative analysis, so they started after the sales tax passed. So
Crazy.
from the very beginning, they adopted some policies, and they said, I think it was, the total sales tax revenue, thou shall never spend more than half of it on bus stuff, and you must bank away half of the money every single year for the future capital. And that was that was always a discussion. But the board stuck to it because they had this plan. So that worked out. I mean, that's how they, once the rail got approved and then the grants and all that stuff, that really helped.
So this 25-year financial implementation plan, that was what I just called it, because that makes sense to me, will tell us what kind of, not that we should do what they did, I'm just saying.
Right.
Will tell us
We are
what
on
kind
that.
of policies in general, not specific, that we should have as our mission.
Yeah.
They'll adjust, but that our general policies with how we handle it, this plan will tell us that. And when are you projecting that to be at a place where you're presenting it to any of the boards?
Probably this fall.
This fall, when you say fall, are you thinking September? Probably
Thinking
not, that's
fall.
probably.
November?
Fall.
Okay.
December?
All right, because
I'm thinking
in
fall. When does
December,
winter
we're
start?
supposed to sort of be finalizing
When does it
everything.
snow here?
I mean, we're supposed to be
Winter doesn't
complete
start until
in
the
December, by the
22nd
end of
of
December,
December.
right? That's
Right.
still our plan, so
Right.
that's why I'm asking, just to see where we are. And then finally, and we gotta, because we're really running late, I want to at least be out of here by 12:30,
Okay.
out of respect for everybody's time, sorry. But these are important conversations. It probably would be a good thing to have, these big things like the finalization of the committee, the financial implementation plan, the other thing that you're going to present. We should probably have an update on our spreadsheet plan of where we are. Each committee should probably get that update. Are we running on, that
Oh, yes,
spreadsheet?
yes,
The
yes.
ACPT work
Work.
schedule.
Yeah, the whole works, we
We're
should
gonna do
probably.
that, yes.
This thing?
Yeah.
On my list.
We're gonna have a discussion
Yeah.
of that at the
Okay.
ACPT.
Okay, because I think, that thing, because I know
Make sure
that,
everyone's.
I think everybody's just sort of, where are we?
Yeah.
Okay, real